Achievements are one of my favorite things in gaming. I love collecting everything and doing everything a game has to offer. But something that gets me is Nintendo and their stubbornness to not include achievements. Why not? But recently, I found a website that fills that void for me. RetroAchievements. It's a fan website that aims to make achievements out for older games that don't have them. I was so excited to find this out, started browsing immediately with the GameCube games. I saw a game, and I had an idea.
Welcome to our little tale of woe, triumph against impossible odds, terror, and managerly responsibility. Our story begins in the calm waters above the town of Bikini Bottom. As we descend beneath the waves, we find another day. Wait a minute! Hold your seahorses!
We start off just like the movie with SpongeBob's dream sequence. We're going to be playing the game normally for the story achievements, and while I won't go into detail for every mission, I will point out some things that stick out. There isn't really anything of note in this first level. It took like 5 minutes, and by finishing the level, we get our first achievement. After we get passed on the manager position, we spiral into a state of depression, and we black out at Goofy Goobers. We play this level as our second playable character, Patrick. Now right away, we use the points we get to upgrade Patrick's normal spin move, awarding us our second achievement. Both characters play pretty differently from each other, but they both have the same standard spin. In this level, we acquire our first special move for Patrick, being the cartwheel, which with the ability to damage enemies, we can just use it to move faster. We can also find our first type of special mission in these levels. This is the arena challenge where we fight waves of enemies, and we do it pretty easily here, awarding us another Goober token. A little bit after, and we finish the level, getting the token and the achievement. With the mission of getting the crown, we drive off with our paddy wagon and start our first of many driving levels. Now, I forgot to mention that this is my first playthrough of the game, and I was not aware of all the many driving levels in this game. My god, I was not prepared for what was in store later. But during the level, we got our first treasure chest, the collectible of the game, and we get an achievement for it. Since there's no time limit yet, it's a pretty smooth ride out of town, awarding us the achievement for this level. The driving doesn't last long though, because as soon as we cross the county line, we get robbed, and now we have to make it through the desert on foot. We get SpongeBob's first special move, the bash, where we can uppercut and hit things right above him. With this game being made 1 year after Battle for Bikini Bottom, we can see a lot of similarities. For example, this level has the next special mission called the Floating Block Challenge, which you will recognize if you play said game. Our mission here is destroying Plankton's propaganda towers, and with our first canonical kill in the series, we grab the token and we get away from the crime scene. Now, this is different from the driving levels because we are sliding, but for future reference later on, I'm gonna just be combining both of these by just saying driving levels. But here, there really isn't anything to talk about initially, but trust me, I have a lot to say about this in a bit. We find our paddy wagon outside the Thug Tug, so now we gotta go in to grab the key and take back the sandwich. Now this is where we have our first glance of inflating game time. So we're required to learn a new move here, but we don't have enough tokens to learn it, so we have to backtrack to get enough. Now I wouldn't have this much of a problem with it since I will have to grab every token eventually, but it is used pretty frequently throughout the game and it really slowed down the story progression. But before I started getting more tokens, I used my points to upgrade some moves, getting 3 more achievements. After getting the remaining tokens, we get our next move, the Slam. This level also introduces the SpongeBob challenges, where we have to get through an obstacle track to get the token. We finish off a couple enemies, then get back to Pete and hit the road. I do have to appreciate the variety they have in the driving levels, even if it is a bit different. Like this level, it's not about getting to the end, but instead grabbing keys to open the gate to get out. Just for the record, this is the only good thing I will say about these driving stages. We escape and then we are awarded the key for the stage. On our way to becoming men, we get tricked with the promise of some ice cream, and we start our first boss fight. Now the fight is a pretty simple one. We just wait till the creature gets on the edge and we attack it. Repeat the process and you'll be good. Sometimes the old lady does show up, but again, no trouble, just an attack and we'll get out of here. After losing the paddy wagon, Mindy uses her mermaid magic and we become men. And just like men, we take the manly way down the trench. We slide all the way to the bottom. Now, this level itself here isn't too bad. It looks pretty nice. It is a long stage, but it's manageable. Now that we make it all the way to the bottom, we get our token and now we start our journey through the trench. Again, with the progression block, we have to backtrack to get enough tokens to learn this next move. Right now, we upgrade our stand move, and here's how I'll explain the driving missions. First, we have the main mission of just beating it, then the second mission is doing it again under a time limit. The third mission is a ring-based challenge where we just have to go through a set of rings. Simple enough, right? And the final one is the macho challenge where we have to beat it under a more strict time limit. And to be honest, the last missions for these driving levels were pushing me a bit more than what I was prepared for, I have to admit that. But there was worse to come. From doing this, we get the achievement for collecting all tokens in this area. After collecting enough tokens, we get SpongeBob's next move, the Sponge Bowl. This is where I feel like the difficulty is starting to go up. The terrain is just much more dangerous and there's more difficult enemy times. Like this bum right here. He's not that hard to deal with right now, but just wait until later. We collect the token and then we get out of here.
Patrick.
Again with the progression block. Y'all must be sick of me complaining. So I'll just make it quick. While grabbing tokens, I upgraded the SpongeBob move, and now I'm back to continue the story. The move we learn here is the grab, which in retrospect was a very useful move, especially with the upgrade where we can throw it farther. It really made the level easier. This ending section did give me a bit of a hard time, but it's nothing that I can't handle. Wait, why is the screen turning black? Oh, it's gonna get worse, isn't it? After we get out of the trench, we are stopped by Dennis and we start his boss fight. It's an actual cakewalk. We just use our upgraded throw and we do a ton of damage. Boy, I sure am glad I have these upgrades. We grab the token and then we make a run for it. After we defeat Dennis, we are captured by Bigger Boot and we pass out. This is kind of the only filler level here. We're in a dream sequence where we have to drive to keep up with Mr. Goofy Goober himself. After this slight detour, we make it back to the real story. After waking up, we find ourselves in Shell City about to be dried out. Our Goofy Goober tier short out the electricity, and we find an opportunity to escape with the crown. I do have to say, this is my favorite of the sliding levels. It's pretty simple and fast level that of course will not provide you any pain. Regardless, we escape and we have to make it back home in time. Escaping Shell City, we find ourselves with no way to get home, but when all hope seems lost, we are saved by the big man himself, David Hasselhoff. However, we are not safe, as Dennis somehow comes back, and now we have to fight him again. This fight, also a total joke. It just turned into kind of a bowling minigame. With the defeat of Dennis, we can safely make it back to Bikini Bottom to return the crown. After making it back underwater, we use our paddy wagon to drive all the way to Planktopolis, where we can finally settle this. This is the final platforming stage before the final boss, and we need more tokens. I'll be back. During that time, I grabbed the achievements for all tokens in Natter Men and Saber Sharding. Now that we're back, we can finally get SpongeBob's last special move, the Sonic Wave Guitar. After that, we upgrade our health to max, and then we continue on. This level is a pretty long one, but it's pretty fitting for our last level. It does give the vibe of a Planktopolis. It's pretty challenging, but hey man, this is a kid's game. It ain't worse than this, right? We make it to the end, cursing Plankton as he flies away, and we continue on to the cursing crowd. Oh my god. We need tokens for this last drive-in level to bring back the Patty Mobile. The one we were just driving. So many levels were done. I'm Ready Depression, Bubble Low and Baby Hunt, Shell City Dead Ahead, Rub-a-Dub-Dub, and finally Rock Slide. With that, we have enough, and thankfully this is the last token gate too. We bring the paddy wagon back, and we start the final driving level. Again, the main drive mission isn't too bad, as this just is the first driving level, just backwards. So we have a pretty easy time getting this achievement and finally making it back to the Krusty Krab. We make it just in time with the crown, but we find King Neptune to also be mind controlled, and thus the final fight starts. Now, the final boss is nothing special. There wouldn't be anything of note. Just hit all the tables, wait until he uses his scope to fire on Mr. Krabs, and you land a hit. If Goofy Goober Rock didn't just start playing at the last phase, automatically makes this a peak fight. With the power of music on our side, we make quick work on this fight, and we officially finish the game. With that done, you're probably wondering what's left, right? Obviously, there's the remaining tokens and collectibles, but that should be it, right? Judging by the remaining runtime, that sadly isn't the case. But just for a minute, I want to talk about something. Now, we all know this is a game for children, right? Little Timmy is supposed to sit down after a day of school and, play some SpongeBob. So tell me, why is it so goddamn hard to find certain treasures? It's a kid's game. They should be out in the open or just, behind a wall I break. But what is this? Now hold on, because that's not the worst part. You have to do it 3 times. There's 3 pieces of toast in this level that you have to hit your Sonic Wave with. That's just crazy. Look, let me show you where they are. You can't see the first one, it's just off there on the side. That's insane. That's just crazy. No way would I ever figure that out without a guide, let alone little Timmy playing this in the early 2000s. Listen, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world, but if I couldn't figure that out by myself, little Timmy couldn't. This isn't even about skill. This is just about stupid placement. As I said, this problem gets easily solved with a guide, and you were able to find everything perfectly fine, but it's just wild. I wanted to rant for that for a bit, just to tell you that that's what I had to go through. But after some cleanup, we get all the little chests, all the final missions, and we officially 100% the game. Now, that should be the end of the video, but knowing achievements, there's a lot left to do. Let me introduce you guys to the Heavy Iron Studios' best times. Now, in the last platforming level, Welcome to Planktopolis, there is an Easter egg. If you walk on this ledge, a text box will appear that shows the studio's best time on every track. And this is a neat Easter egg, but this serves as the basis for these next achievements. As you might remember, the last mission for each driving level is a Macho Challenge, which is a more intense time limit. And remember when I said that I was having some trouble with them before? Well, get ready, just because these next achievements are for beating every heavy iron time. For example, in sandwich driving, the macho time that you have to beat is 3 minutes, but to get its heavy iron achievement, the new time is 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And every second counts here, but just let me preface with this again that I had the thought this is a children's game. I thought all I had to do was just to be a little bit more tight on some corners or just be a better driver. And for the first track, that seemed to be the case. It took some time, but this first achievement was just based on using the boost more efficiently. This level, however, was different. Now, I was trying to improve my time, and from what I thought was a perfect run with all the shortcuts taken, I got a time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds. and with the time I have to beat being 2 minutes and 43 seconds, I knew I was doing something wrong. So I did what anyone would do. I looked it up on YouTube. I found this YouTuber, Kyoku, who will be very useful in these next achievements. I looked at their video and was shocked to find that there was a huge skip in this level. I was thinking, no way, this is what I have to do. The devs were not doing this. This is just a speedrunner. Can you imagine the surprise on my face when I went back to the RetroAchievements website to look at the set again? And oh my god, the name of the achievement is called Dumb Jump with a picture of that exact skip. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had to do speedrun strats to finish this game. And you know what? Another point. What were the devs doing? I'm sorry, I didn't realize that they had a goddamn speedrunner on the team. And you know, that name was so right, because I had to actually spend quite a bit of time here just practicing the jump over and over and over again. But with some luck, we did manage to get the jump and beat the race by under 2 seconds, grabbing the achievement. This was a relief of a level. It really was just driving better. No stupid speedrun strats, just that. But it was pretty funny. Other than that, we easily get the achievement. This is one of the last big driving stages that uses a lot of skips. Now this one has more speedrun strats than the other ones, like cut in large parts of the map, but it didn't really bother me as much as that dumb jump one, just because this stage just felt more fun to me. The skips felt more fun, but again, while learning these routes, I just couldn't help but be thinking about what were the devs on. Like, I had to do so many skips here to beat this time, and they were pretty big ones. It's just wild to me, but anyways, I managed to get the exact time needed and was relieved of this pain. Thank God, another easy track. Just some good driving and you should have a nice little Sunday drive. Thank you, Mr. Goofy Goober. Right on time, I might add. 3:55. Now, this is a funny one here. After the horror of that dumb jump, I now have the routine of checking out the achievement name and looking at this amazing guy's videos right here. The name here was called TNT Respawn Strat, and you can see it in this video, that for some reason, if you proceed to die here, you will spawn at the next checkpoint that is right at the end. But another thing before getting here is that I saw that the strat here in the beginning of the video was used. What is this? This is actually insane. Regularly, if you try to go reverse on any of the tracks, the game won't let you. It just kind of gravitates you and pulls you back around to go back the right way. But if you jump on the first frame from landing, you're able to move in any direction you want. And for this strat, you have to do this jump like so many times consecutively just to make it to the next course to do the skip. And again, I have spent so much time here failing, kinda succeeding, and failing again. I'm sorry, dear viewer, but I did give up. However, I thought that if I just tightened up my movements and with the usage of the respawn strat, I could do this. And so I did. I finished with 1 second left to spare. Thankfully, we're ending this section with an easy track. This track is just a mirrored version of sandwich driving, so the same strategy of good nitro management is the key here. Bundle that with some good old driving, and you beat the last track. With that, the driving sections are complete once and for all, and now with that done, it's time to explain the last section of this achievement set. Remember how we had achievements for upgrading our health and moves, right? Well, not anymore. There are a set of achievements that require us to beat the game with no upgrades at all, called the Minimalist Achievements. This run here, there is no messing around. I'm just trying to beat the game as fast as I can. Now, the first achievement is actually in the second level, and with this being the start of the game, there really isn't any noticeable increases in difficulty yet. So skipping until we first see some resistance is at the first boss fight, As you can see, without the melee upgrade, the amount of damage I do is heavily reduced. That made the fight last way too long, and this was just a warning on what was to come. Nothing much to mention here. Just solid level, not really any problems. I mean, I guess this section a little, but that was okay. Other than that, yeah, pretty easy achievement. This is when the no upgrades really showed how hard this can be. With the upgraded throw, we're able to throw things farther and, more stronger. But without that upgrade, we have to get more personal. The basic combo that this game wants you to do is to use your upgraded slam to stun the enemies and then use them as projectiles. It's really useful with the enemies that damage you with a beam if you get too close to them. But with this challenge run, it's almost impossible to kill them. Now, the real challenge here is the last segment, where we have to defeat the enemies and press both buttons on each side. But the problem is that the beam enemies are guarding the buttons, and we have to destroy them. But with the enemies not being able to be used as projectiles, we run into a problem. Now, a lot of trial and error was done here, but the tactic used was to get to one of the sides of the platform where the enemy isn't there, take a necessary hit to get under it, and spin attack it. We do the same thing on the other side, and with a little bit of luck, we can make it out alive. Now Dennis is really a menace here. The regular run was really easy since our throws did a lot of damage and we can attack further away. But without that upgrade, we're at a real disadvantage. For starters, we need to hit him way more times than the regular run, because we are doing way less damage. And the enemies that spawn in are an actual nuisance, since they take a couple of hits to destroy and they can't even be used as projectiles. While you are attacking one, the other enemy is just closing in on you and takes you out. No health upgrades, 3 hits, you're done. But if I can be brutally honest with you, I have no idea how I won this fight. I was shook, but I took the W. After further reviewing of the footage, apparently I missed the throw right here as he's jumping to the other platform, and after he does his attack there, he jumps back to the previous platform, and with the watermelon still there, it damages him. So, fight was legit. I'm still taking that W. After some driving levels, we come back to Dennis again, and like last time, this really was just a bowling minigame, just a little bit longer. The final platforming level in this game almost made me cry. You could say it's from lack of patience, but just listen. Throughout the game, both of SpongeBob and Patrick's melee attacks are able to deflect enemy projectiles, but that's only with their upgrades. So you might be wondering, how are you supposed to fight against that? Like a punk. I had to make targeted missile hits on them from behind corners or just making the sneakiest kills. But this section here was really annoying. Just from all of the projectile enemies and falling all the way down if something happens with this obstacle course here.
One eternity later.
I kid you not, I shouldn't have been stuck at that section for as long as I was. The only act of mercy that these achievements have ever given me was this right here. I was so confused when I got here because as soon as I was going to start the last section, the achievement popped up. Why? I didn't finish the level yet. Well, apparently it's agreed upon that it's almost impossible to do this room without any upgrades. So they decided to give us a break and award it to us right before it. And hey man, I'll take anything I can get. Our last obstacle is the final fight. But since we didn't technically finish the last level, we are allowed to input a cheat here to unlock every mission. And with that, we can get into the fight. The main problem here was the health, just 3 hits and I'm dead. You can call that a skill issue if you want. There really isn't any other difficulty factors here, but with the end being so close and Goofy Goober Rock playing again, we hit the final blow, getting the last Minimalist achievement. One little thing though, I did have to beat Neptune again on the 100% file just to get this secret ending. Thank you guys all for watching. I know I say this every video, but I'm so sorry for the long wait between videos. You know, a lot happened between life. I just graduated college, so yes sir, I have now a lot more time to make videos for you guys. And you know, huge shout out to Kyoku here. You know, without his videos, I would not have been able to do those heavy iron trials. Let me know if you guys still like these kinds of videos, you know, still trying to do new things, see what works. But yeah, alright guys, I'll see you next time, hopefully sooner. Alright, bye. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Hey, you're missing one. You didn't finish. Ah, there you go.